Hey everybody, it's Amira and welcome back to my channel. It is New Year's Eve and I want to take the opportunity to say Happy New Year for 2020. I hope you guys have an amazing year. This is the Take 5 Art Challenge and it is my turn to give you the prompts. I am kicking off 2020 with 5 prompts for the Take 5 Art Challenge. I hope you join me for this one. I did this one sort of like a countdown to the New Year's. So my prompts this month are well, before we get into that, I just wanted to show you my word for 2020 is thrive. So I'm hoping that in 2020, I'm going to thrive in whatever situation I find myself in. To me, thrive means wherever you're stuck in, not just survive it, but actually enjoy it and really get what you want out of it. So really looking forward to 2020 this year. I thought for this challenge, I would take the opportunity to work on my new planner. This is my new planner. It's got rings this time. My last planner was a spiral bound. And I thought what I would do is grab some dashboards out of my planner and make some mixed media dashboards for the Take 5 Art Challenge. So I've just pulled the dividers out here and I'm going to use some 300 GSM watercolor paper. This is A5 and it fits perfectly to size here, as I'm going to show you. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out those really flimsy dividers and I'm going to use this really sturdy watercolor paper to make a divider for my monthly calendar and make a divider for my weekly calendar. So on with the prompts. So as I was saying earlier, I made the prompts so that they were like a countdown to the new year. So we're starting off with 5 scraps of paper or 5 strips of paper. And I've just been reaching a limit with my scrap bucket. That's why I decided to incorporate some of these strips. Next is, I'm going to go with the colors next. So I'm choosing a combination of Distress Oxide and Distress Ink. I've got fossilized amber, tea dye, and some ice spruce. And as you can see, I picked them because they sort of match the papers that were in my scrap bucket. So those go really good. 5 strips of paper, 4 stamps, and I'm reaching for these are my go-to mixed media stamps. This is a music stamp, a music note stamp, and I use it a lot. As you can see, it's quite grungy. Next is my background script. These are Kaisercraft. Most of my stamps are from Kaisercraft. This is a Crackle stamp. I've got some journal, just some journaling kind of grid and some lined lines using those as well. And I've also got some scrolls, and these are all pretty old. They're about 5 years old in my stash, and goodness knows where I got them from. I just have them all in a plastic sheet with just a paper that reminds me what each stamp looks like. So the next prompt is 2, and I've got 2 images here. So this is an image of a flowering cactus in the middle of the desert, and I thought it was perfect for the word thrive because in hard situations, this cactus seems to thrive. As you can see, the colors are actually what prompted me to choose those scraps from my scrap bin. And my second image is going to be this pretty girl. These are just stamps that I picked up off AliExpress. I have no idea who they're by. They're just a cheap stamp. And for my one word for 2020, it's thrive, and I've just photocopied a dictionary page with the word thrive there. I'm going to incorporate that into the background. I've also got some chipboard alphas, which I'm hoping to use to spell the word thrive. So these are all my supplies. Let's get started. So I'm going to put the 2 pages side by side, and I'm just going to have to remember because these are planner inserts that I'm going to have to punch holes on the left-hand side of both pages, so they can't really be connected, as a double page layout. And you'll see a little bit later on how sort of I work that out. So the first thing I'm going to do with the strips of paper, just going to play here. This is just playing. I'm tearing them up into just little horizontal pieces and just really enjoying it and having fun and layering, and you know, collage is one of my most favorite things, so that's why I chose that as one of my prompts. I'm then using the dictionary page. I'm cutting that down to size, and I'm going to make it so that you can kind of still see the word thrive popping out from underneath the strips of paper that I'm using. I'm also going to try to make sure that I don't cover that area with too much color. We'll see how we go. I'm using matte medium here, and I'm using my spatula. I've promised myself I'm never ever going to use a paintbrush to apply matte medium. I've just ruined too many good brushes that way, so spatula it is. So after I dry that, I'm just using a little bit of gesso. This is dry brushing, and all I'm doing is just making sure that the edges of the paper like blend in with the background. I'm now coming in with some dimensional texture paste. I'm adding a little bit of texture. I've got some bubble from the Punchinella. I've also got some brick from the brick stencil, and I've got some arrows. These are outside components, they're not part of the prompts. I just wanted to add a little bit of extra texture to my background because I'm going to make it so that the background denotes like a harsh landscape and that you're thriving in a harsh landscape. So I'm just adding a little bit of brick wall and some arrows. You'll see what I mean. I do reach my target in the end, so I like how it turns out. So I've got some tea dye here. I'm just using a little bit of tea dye on some plastic sheet, and I'm spraying it. I couldn't find my fine mister, so I used just my normal spray bottle, and it was all globby and drippy, and I sort of didn't like how it went here. So where I went wrong was I went and got my fine mister from my pearl spray, and so it's a little bit goldy, so I added a little bit of gold to the fossilized amber, and it turns out just a little bit dark here, so I'm just pulling back some of that fossilized amber with the pearl spray, and then I dry it up and it's fine. So then I noticed here that the fossilized amber kind of overpowered the tea dye ink. I was going to go in and add just a little bit of like a darker brown, like an espresso, but I actually decided not to do that, and I do pick another color to substitute for the tea dye that doesn't show here. I'm going in now with an iced spruce, but then I'm going to come in with some mauve lawn, and it turns out really perfect. Like the yellow with the gray with the green is such a beautiful combination that I really love how this layout is looking. So now I'm coming in with my image and trying to decide where it's going to go. So I thought at first, let's just get the girl done. I'm using my Tim Holtz repositioner, and this thing, although I don't pull it out as much as I should, this is why I use it, because I always do impartial prints. Like if this was any other stamp, I would just been so angry and thrown out the whole thing. But because you've got the repositioner, you can just ink it, re-ink it, and add some more ink, and it's fine. It never does the double, it doesn't ruin it from the first time, if you know what I mean. So I'm just coming in with my Faber-Castell watercolor pencils, and this is just some really light coloring. I'm using like a peach for her skin, a little bit of red for her lips and her cheeks, purple in the flowers and one hair, and red in the other. And then I'm gonna make one a brunette and one a red. She's dyed her hair red. My son's currently got red in his hair, so I guess this is just subconscious for me. So really simple. And then for the earphones, I'm using the ice spruce, and yeah, looks good. Very simple, no big deal, no stress. I know coloring can sometimes be quite stressful. This is just trying to get an image done. And then I'm gonna fussy cut around, and she is ready to start figuring out if she's going to be on the left or the right. I did end up using the girl with the purple because I thought that the purple sort of matched the sand, the shadow in the sand of the photograph. And oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know that the photograph is a print from my sprocket. I'm just sealing the edges here with matte medium, once again using my fingers, not using any brush, just in case it decides to start peeling. And I added that image underneath the word and definition of thrive. And then I decided I had this old like Halloween alphas, and I just loved the gold and I loved the tall thin letters. I used the letters from the word frightful and sort of made it work. There was no V in that entire sheet, so I ended up using the U and I cut it down just a little bit, and I think it makes a really wonderful V. So there you go. If you have alphas that you don't know how to use, you can just pull the letters out and make other words. So now it's time just to add the girl, and because she's listening to headphones, this is why I picked out the music note stamp. So I've just stamped a little bit behind her there. I'm now just adding some of the other stamps, some lines, some crackle. The crackle is quite amazing. I tried to do it with the oxide, but just didn't show, so it shows best with a black ink. I'm then coming in with some script here, there, obliterating white space as usual. And I just love the scroll here. The scroll really finishes off and makes it quite dreamy. And just coming in here where I had the tape, I had quite a sharp line between where the tape came off. So I came in and I just added a little bit of a stamping and covering it up. So this is how it's looking right now. Really love that. And then I'm just going to go ahead now and add some holes so that I can place them in my planner. When I inserted the dashboard into the planner, I realized that this page was very empty because there was no, there's no sentiment. So I've got this little strip that says every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day. And I think that's perfect. So that's just a little bit of extra again that I had to add to finish my layout. And I also went ahead and finished it off by adding some reinforcements to the holes in the side. Love this little punch from We Are Memory Keepers. Really, really good. Very mixed media and very much in tune with the theme that I've got going for next year. I hope you guys have thought about a word for 2020, a word that kind of inspires you and drives you for the next year. And have you guys chosen a planner for 2020? I'm definitely a planner girl, not so much a decorator girl, but definitely a planner girl in that I've got my planner with me just to make my lists, just to remind me of dates and work times and stuff like that. So that's about it from me. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to go over to the other girls and check out what they did with their prompts this month. If you decide to play along with us, please go ahead and use the hashtag Take5Art on Instagram. Tag us, tag me. I'd love to see what you guys come up with for the month of January. And yeah, I'll definitely like and comment, and let's keep the art going for 2020. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you in my next video.